so now what can we all do, right? So that's one thing I did. Another thing, I just a few weeks ago, I started my own weekday podcast. Anybody listening to it? Actually, it zipped right up the charts on iTunes. I didn't even know iTunes had a chart. But under news and politics, right out of the gate, I hit number 2. Number 1 is NPR. So please subscribe to my show on iTunes, but we also broadcast it at tomwoodsradio.com Monday through Friday. And I've been doing this, I guess I've been doing it for 4 weeks. I don't know where the time went, but that's been a lot of fun. That's something I can do, and I just offer that for you guys every day. Okay, it's just free. Listen to it, enjoy it, whatever. If you don't like it, you can just throw it away. You know, just put it in your recycle bin and forget about it. But so that's something that I can feel like I did something every day. I'm doing a lot of long-term projects, and that discourages me. At the end of the day, I go home and I feel like, well, I still haven't finished. But every day now I go home and say, I did this. I had this person on, and I educated people on this subject, and I learned something too. Because I don't know everything, and I want to fill in gaps in my own knowledge, so I have experts on every subject under the sun. And it's fantastic, and I can do it basically for almost nothing, and just give it away for free. Who was the first guest I had on? You would think, oh, maybe he'll have Judge Napolitano or something. I said, you know, I'm going to blow everybody's mind by not having an obvious person as my first guest. I had Michael Bolden of the 10th Amendment Center as my first guest. Because I wanted to know, how did you start from nothing, a guy in his apartment, to now having this tremendous 10th Amendment Center with 100,000 likes on Facebook, now way more even than that, and having state chapters all over the country, and the New York Times calls you, wants your comment on things. Or when you post something on your Facebook page, you drive the news cycle. Suddenly you see it reported in the Washington Post or whatever. How did you do that? That's incredible to me on a shoestring budget. And a shoestring budget is actually oversaving. Like Bolden's one luxury is like he has some kale juice once in a while. He does this on nothing. Meanwhile, these think tanks in Washington, the presidents of them get high six-figure salaries. They're riding around in limousines. If Michael just had the limousine budget of one of those, imagine what he could accomplish. He's an extraordinary guy. I was so glad to be able to have him on. The other thing I'm doing, and this is also a fundraiser for the North Carolina 10th Amendment Center. Some of you know about this, but I'm going to tell you about it. I got a little discouraged after a while when I realized that simply writing books was not making the college professors change their minds about U.S. history. Okay? You know, it's disillusioning, right? They didn't immediately read them and start teaching different things. So I thought, rather than gripe about this, I'm going to take matters in my own hands and fix it the best way I can. So I started up my own courses in U.S. history. Like, I can't fix their brains, but I can teach my own stuff. Like, instead of being a lazy bum who just gripes all day, who wants to be around somebody like that? I designed with Kevin Gutzman and some other people that I trust. We've come up with courses in U.S. history, Western civilization, and by the way, we actually like Western civilization on our website, and economics, like real economics. We have a course on why Keynesianism is all full of it and all that. We've got 8 courses up there, plus question and answer forums. And, you know, so there's something we didn't answer, you can go and get it answered. So we've got 8 courses. You can listen to them in your car. You don't have to make extra time for them. And it's stuff that you should have been taught in school, but none of us were. We all had to learn on our own. I'm trying to minimize the amount of time necessary for you to learn that stuff. So what I've done is this. I got flyers for this out on my table. The site is libertyclassroom.com. libertyclassroom.com. And here's the deal I'm making for you guys, I'm going to raise a little dough for the 10th Amendment Center here. I'm giving you guys a half-off coupon code. It lasts for a very, very short amount of time. And after that time is over, I'm going to pretend I never made this offer. You're all crazy lunatics. I don't know what you're talking about. I'm giving a 50% off coupon code. The coupon code in all caps is Carolina. In all caps. You enter that in, and you get 50% off. And for everybody who joins in the next couple of days with the coupon code Carolina, I'm going to donate $10 for each person to the 10th Amendment Center of North Carolina. So hopefully... Now, what can you guys do? You think, all right, yeah, okay, we heard some great talks, and I'm really persuaded. What can we do? Well, first, join one of these groups that you learned about today, or join the 10th Amendment Center. Go to 10thamendmentcenter.com and join it. And you'll be part of something that is really quite extraordinary. And then, of course, learn everything you can. We're always learning things. And as I say, I'm trying to make it so that you can learn while you, because we're all busy enough as it is. I don't want to say to you, hey, read 10 more books this month. Where are you going to find the time? I'm trying to produce stuff, my show and my site, so you can learn while you're driving along. But learn the stuff so that when people listen to you, they'll say, wow, this person knows what's going on. This person knows his stuff. Because we are a minority. We're very much a minority. We can't afford just to listen to nice speeches and then go home. We have to be knowledgeable. We have to have the impact of 2 or 3 people. And we can do that by, well, the tools we have with the internet. I mean, I make videos all the time, and I reach a lot of people that way. And it's all for free. Look for ways that you can find a niche where you can make your contribution. But at the very least, join the 10th Amendment Center and be a part of that. But my view is that we've actually already made history. Because historians in the future will look back at the major newspapers of our day and they'll say, isn't that funny? All of a sudden, people were talking about state nullification again. And we did that with no media support. To the contrary, the media is either attacking us or smearing us or using arguments against us that were exploded a million times. We have no big right-wing or conservative radio people behind us, except Mike. There's really nobody, I mean, I guess Jerry Doyle, that would be an example, but really there's nobody who supports us on this. Nobody will even mention it. Not even the word. Walter Williams mentions it when he fills in on Rush Limbaugh, but not a word from these people. And yet, for some reason, we are such a threat that the New York Times feels it necessary to attack us. And the Washington Post and MSNBC and all these outlets. Something is happening here. And now we know from polls that 52% of Americans believe in the principle, even though what they've heard about it is all, this is for slavery. And somehow they know that's BS. Right? They're politically astute enough to know anytime somebody says you support slavery, this is nonsense. Right? They have an IQ above 50, so they can see through that. And meanwhile, the other side changes the rules all the time. There's a Yale professor from years ago, Bruce Ackerman, and you would say, Bruce, how can you possibly say that such and such federal program is constitutional? There's no authorization for that in the Constitution. He would say, you're right. But in U.S. history, we have constitutional moments. We have a moment where we all kind of agree that government needs to do more things. So we all kind of implicitly say to each other, you ready? Go. Let's just let them do it. So they'll say, like, the New Deal was one of those times. Forget the Constitution. Just do what you think you got to do. And he says, and that's just as good as an amendment. But even Alexander Hamilton said in The Federalist that until the people have solemnly, through the mechanism in the Constitution, changed that Constitution, the presumption is that the original meaning is in effect. But they do this all the time. All of a sudden we discover that this is constitutional, and that is, and this is a constitutional right all of a sudden. This changes all the time. If they can change things, why can't we? Why can't we make things happen differently? So we have a moral duty to do this. We have a constitutional mandate to do it. And we can be part of something that, yes, in the short run, will get you called names. That's right. If you are too thin-skinned to endure being called names by thought controllers, like people that think progress, who think, oh, you're all about slavery. These are people, by the way, they're supposed to be on the left, ha-ha, right? They're basically just cronies for the plutocrats, all these alleged progressives of think progress. They're all for the bailouts. They're all for the same crummy policies of Obama. These people are supposed to be leftists who believe small is beautiful, and yet, for some reason, they don't think 310 million people being governed by one city is maybe out of scale. No, they're going to call you names. Think progress, media matters, or think Soros, I think is what we sometimes call it, because George Soros bankrolls. Then get out of this thing right now. But you'll be able to tell your kids someday that you were part of this, because what's going on right now is going to be remembered. We're already having, here and there, we're seeing cracks in the structure. We're making progress with no outside help. Eventually, we're going to get to a point that the big names are going to want to jump on this particular bandwagon. And they're going to claim they were driving all along. And you know what? I don't even care. If it gets the message out there, the more the merrier. But I couldn't be happier and more privileged to be involved in this great cause with all you self-sacrificing patriots in this room. Thank you very much.